All right, quick and dirty. We see that they pretty much floated it up and then basically broke this, which a lot of, just the reason why I don't trade breakouts is they had to break this and pretty much roll it. I don't know. It feels like, it doesn't feel like an accumulation. It feels like a distribution, quite honestly, because of how long we've gone up. Gone up a long time. So just have to see. Again, it needs to hold these levels in a major way, or it's going to flush down pretty quick. Again, I'm not saying we know they're above this 50%, which is 1950, but it just needs to hold it. It needs to hold it. It needs to hold it in a major way. The QQQ or the NQ future actually looked weaker, and I think if it breaks below this low, it's going to flush down really, really badly. So again, it's just a pattern that I look at, and again, if it breaks below here, it's really going to run down very, very quickly. And you can see that on the ETF. Looking at the QQQ again, I want to see it break this low here and see where it goes from there. Okay, but this pattern I've seen many times before. Excuse me. The YM. Again, it's just a couple names in this, and again, it didn't take much. They're waiting for people to look for this breakout. First, it's trying to get it here. It is what it is, but again, it needs to hold below these lows. It just needs to hold, and we'll see what happens. Again, IWM still in a very, very choppy range. You can see this. It's been very, very difficult to trade this unless you're using like a 65-minute or 30-minute or something like that. Apple, again, I had a turn date, so I think it's just profit taking. I don't think that the stock is broken in any way, shape, or form, but I believe that it's just profit taking. BABA has continued to go to the downside from this pullback. I'm in CLR, and it's still just quiet. I needed to break this low to continue to the downside. I'm in 3 days, so it's going to be a 4th day. So if it breaks down below, gives me some, I will go to break even. I'm also in USO, which again, this is a reason why you cannot look at the P&L. You have to look at the price action, because it came up and I was like, oh shit, here we go, we're gonna hit our stop, but it hasn't yet. So we need to see the break below this low, and then I think we go back to those previous levels of 48, 44, 41, and eventually 33, in my opinion. I did get a little bit of Procter & Gamble today. I took a short on that one, and we'll see how it goes. But again, I like this pullback right here, low volume, and it broke down below. So we'll see if it continues to the downside. I wanted everything in my body wanted to get Tesla short, but again, the earnings are the 11th. So that I swing trade, so it wasn't something that I could have picked up. But I was very ticked off that I couldn't. I'm looking at American Express as maybe a short. I looked at the banking sector stuff, just gapped up, but I mean it's still, if you still want to kind of look at just keeping it quick and dirty, it's right at right at the 50%. So this might be a good setup if it breaks below this low. Yes, it was strong coming up to it, but break of this low could be a low risk type of trade. I was also looking at JP Morgan, pretty much gave the same type of feel to it. Twitter, you can see again, earnings, I don't mess with it. Amazon, again, same thing. I wouldn't, again, it's going to have to pull back. I wouldn't be shorting that. It just look for a setup for the long side. Netflix, I wouldn't short as well either. You saw this nice little neat pullback, one up, and then kind of just not giving you much after that. So I would like a better setup regarding that one. You got the also Cat still setting up to look short. You can see that we still have it below the 50% level, and hasn't really traced up that much from the lows. So that's the only thing that could kind of be a little bit concerning. GoPro hates itself. Just looking for another setup, cleaner setup to get short that name if it continues to go down. We had Facebook, and we've seen that Facebook has pretty much been trading this box for a while now, and it's breaking down. So again, we got to see how if it could break down and then give a little flag, and then something I would consider shorting. Okay, I just want my setups to look really good. And again, that sometimes you end up missing something, but that's fine too. It doesn't mean you're gonna miss trades. It's just, it is what it is. And if you miss a trade, don't chase. So again, if Yahoo, I wanted to get in here, but if it pops up a little bit, that doesn't mean, it means that I could still re-short if it gives me a lower high, but the risk to reward has to be in place. And this would be something my stop would probably roll down to above that high. Goldman Sachs, again, same thing. It's still below the 50% level, and we just have to see if it holds. Sorry for a second. If it holds, it's at the 50% level of the move. So we have to see if it's going to hold or it's going to break down below. But again, it's still showing some type of weakness. You have to be very, very cautious and not go out of, jump out the window for nothing. Baidu is starting to break down. I didn't like this pattern to get into the short. Again, it's not really, I'll wait for another type of pullback to get short that. I don't like, this is a nice pattern, continuation pattern, but the risk versus reward, I'm like, maybe it's going to come back here and test these lows. So again, be very, very cautious going longs. But again, if the QQQ breaks down on Monday, we got to see what's going on. And again, I don't know. It doesn't have a good feeling. And again, if you don't know where the direction you want to trade in, just sit on your hands and you will get an opportunity. And that's one of the biggest things, having the maturity to sit and say, I'm going to wait for my setup to come versus I have to trade every day. Take care.